Aloha, you beautiful mother fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Podcast. Of course, across all of the streaming platforms, both audio and video. Double A is going to list them for you now.
Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, and a bunch others.
That was three.
TikTok.
There you go.
Twitter.
Okay.
A little bit of Twitter.
X.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram.
What?
Reddit, a little bit.
Really?
A little bit.
We're on Reddit?
A little bit.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know either.
You might be on Reddit.
I am on Reddit.
I'm not on Reddit.
You should be on Reddit.
I need to get the fuck off of Reddit.
Reddit is fantastic.
I'm not even on Reddit, and I want to be off Reddit.
Reddit is fantastic. There are some things you see on Reddit, some good stuff. But it's things only that you want to see. Isn't that all of social media, by the way?
There's a reason why I only have
but
TikTok.
But you chose us. Thank you for choosing us.
You did.
Here on the Side Hustle Podcast.
What the fuck is wrong with you? No, it's...
We are actually following. So, this is going to be an interesting show.
It's been a day.
This is going to be an interesting show.
You're going to see a wardrobe change from me and not Double A later. It's going to be great.
Yeah. So, this is going to be an interesting show here. Today's been busy. Very busy.
I'm dizzy.
Kyle just came from the gym. I went grocery shopping during our break.
Did you?
I did.
How about that?
Yeah.
We both did something productive.
Yeah, did something a little productive.
Yeah.
Loaded up on coffee. Might take one. Oh, and then, so we got a big show here today, and then we're following WWE's playbook because Thanksgiving is next week. We're actually taping next week's episode immediately after this show.
We're just going to, I guess, just tell everyone we're doing that.
Of course.
Ah, damn it.
Of course.
They're going to look for spoilers.
Man.
What a bunch of bullshit, by the way.
Maybe later on.
I get it, though.
Next week's PowerPoint's already done. Maybe I'll show you a snippet. You got a message, by the way. You got 2 messages.
Got a lot going on.
Yeah. How about that?
I forgot to put it back on Do Not Disturb.
Man.
Whoopsie doopsie. Didn't mean to do that.
All right, here's what we're talking about. Sweet moment of the week coming up in just a moment. Something we are both very, very excited for, and we've both been really pushing for, and it's finally here. We cannot wait to talk about the Women's United States Championship that's underway now with the tournament, and we'll crown the first. Damn.
I'm sorry. Is it really distracting you that much? How much coffee did you drink?
It's picking up on the microphone.
Fucking supersonic hearing over
Man.
here. Tiny ding in the corner of the studio. Oh, my fuck. What was that?
You know what was funny? This entire year, I thought I was actually losing my hearing, which I think I am.
Apparently the fuck not. You heard that? I barely heard it, and I'm right next to it.
Man, I think all kidding aside.
Pete's like, I can't hear anything. I'm 85.
All kidding. I'm telling you, this is...
What?
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 Huh? What?
Huh?
How does Stone Cold...
What does the Seal of the Clown Show sound like?
You ever watch Stone Cold back in those the heyday of the what? Like,
what?
He's in the middle of the conversation. So I went to the grocery store. What? Pick up some eggs. What? They didn't have any bacon. What?
It's the whole conversation. Just glides through. It's great.
Slides the whole thing. You imagine a meeting with your boss? No, we're not going to restart. It worked for Stone Cold. I freaking hate those what chants. I hate it. It's just, I hate it.
I like it. If you kiss your sister, say what? And they're like, what? And I'm like, ha!
What? That's what we got coming up. Bloodline update. Interesting conversation we're going to have about Cody. You know, he's firmly at this moment out of the Bloodline storyline. He's in a highly emotional feud here. But, you know, is this enough here for Cody? We'll talk about that. Back by popular demand. Hear me out. But this time, he remembered during the break.
Told Double A when we had our failed recording before that I had forgotten what my hear me out here was. And I was going to just have to fucking freeball it when we got to the point. But luckily, after the gym, while I was in the shower sudsing my naked body, I was able to find out and remember what I wanted to talk about. So put that in your erotica book.
Rapid fire coming up as well. That might be appropriate for what was just discussed. And we have a special interview coming up at the end of the show. We're actually pretty excited about this interview coming up because we have a special announcement.
Yeah.
That's a part of this interview coming up at the end of the show. We cannot wait.
We just keep growing.
We have to.
We just keep finding more people to get involved with, and we're excited, obviously, to meet with this next person. You're going to see live in a little bit what that is all going to kind of entail and what she's all about. And it was honestly a great sit down. That's where the aforementioned wardrobe change will take place. I will look like I just came from my job instead of the gym, and Double A will still look very professional. So
thank you.
What the fuck else is new?
What else? What else is new? What is new? Well, our BA Sweetie Sweet Moment of the Week. We've been doing this now for 6 months, and we're excited each and every single week to do this segment brought to you by BA Sweeties. What is new, though, is what we're about to talk about. And finally, the United States Championship, the Mid-Card Women's Championship, has arrived. It fits these three wrestlers, actually. Of course, B-Fab, Candice LeRae, and, of course, Bayley. But a lot of things to discuss out of this, but just first off, your overall reaction. The Office listened, and it is here. Here we go.
It's about time. I think that was one thing we've talked about, and I've said this numerous times. Maybe we played a very teeny tiny small part in actually getting this to move forward in the internet wrestling community, and obviously WWE heard this. Getting a mid-card championship for the women. Because it felt like this is a deep women's division, especially NXT. It's like stupid deep. There's so many. They're doing the Iron Survivor thing now, and I just look at the list. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. But in general, there's so many talented women in this company. And it feels like if you don't have a story for the main title, and this goes for the tag champs too, you may be on the show, but it doesn't really feel as important. Like, how do we kind of get some more, girls on the show and make it count and mean something? And that's what it was a building block for the men's side with the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. title. From their perspective, it was that gap in between. Okay, they're ready for this responsibility. Maybe not the top spot yet, or maybe they've been to the top spot. We don't really have anything for them now. What makes sense for them to still feel like they're getting an important spot on the card while they can build up other talent around them that are maybe even lesser, or they're just trying to work their way up, or they're young, whatever it is. Look at Braun Breaker, that kind of guy. We know he's going to be a main eventer, but this is a nice stopgap for him. Get that title, get some experience, face some main event level talent so you can be ready for that spot when the time comes.
Well, again, this is the beauty of Triple H and Power, right? Because think about Triple H's building block back in the late 90s. It was his feud with The Rock, Intercontinental Championship. All right, the main event scene's a little bit crowded right now.
God, can you imagine if Vince was still... we're going to get rid of the women's title. Show me your tits. Like, that's probably what it would have been like.
Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes from now, I'll tell you exactly what Vince would have done. He would have introduced this championship. I do believe he would have introduced this, but I'll tell you in 2 minutes exactly what Vince would have done. And you will hate it. And many of you will hate it, too.
I hate it. I haven't heard it yet.
2 minutes from now, I'll tell you. My reaction overall, though, this is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think it's different because, you have the women's tag team championships. We're at a good place, though, where teams are not just being thrown together, but the result of that, though, is because teams are not thrown together, you are right. There are talented women on the main roster. We're not even talking about NXT when those call-ups are on their way.
Good God.
But there are a ton.
People are going to, a lot of the girls on the main roster are going to get released.
But
it's like there's so many,
Well, but you know what? Maybe not as many because this championship is here now. So there is a second thing to fight for, and it is good. We see too many times, talented women not have anything to fight for, and just you're trying to carve out TV time. It just hasn't happened. I think Bayley's the perfect example here. Bayley is somebody who obviously has credentials. She's going to be in the Hall of Fame. They talked about it on the show, but it seemed like for much of 2024, especially after she lost the women's championship opportunities, she hasn't had really anything to do.
Yeah.
And for somebody with the star power that Bayley has, that's unacceptable.
No, yeah. This gives her a new challenge, a new opportunity, and it also puts her kind of in a role. I know she was always compared to John Cena when she was in the hugger phase because it was the fan-friendly, never turned heel, all that stuff. She obviously went that way. But this is a chance for an open challenge every week. You can call girls up from NXT for a week and almost kind of give them like a tryout. Are you really ready for the main roster? Okay, work with Bayley, work with Bianca Belair, work with some of these girls that have been there for a while and been multiple-time champions, have had that kind of experience. I would be surprised if it went to somebody who hasn't been a women's champion, just from the standpoint of, again, you want that real person to kind of set the standard for it. Kind of like when Seth Rollins was made the world heavyweight champion through that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want someone to really set the tone for a new title.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, fuck the phone. In this case, it was actually a new championship.
Right.
I mean, world heavyweight title was around before. This is brand new. So that first champion is going to be really important. Some would argue maybe you do put a younger superstar in there because you want to be able to like make them essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But someone like Tiffany Stratton, her story is not with this; it's more with Nia.
Right.
You know, some of these other ones. I mean, you could have thrown like a Candice LeRae or one of those ones in there, and maybe it would have made sense to elevate her to an extent. But she's got her own story with Nia going.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it makes the most
and
sense
Bayley
for
winning this match, to your
Yes.
theory, gets that started. Like,
yeah,
all right, not everybody is created equal at this moment.
yeah.
Right now, although I will say real quick, I thought BFAB, like, this was a good spotlight
Yes.
for her.
Yeah,
This
it
was a great spotlight for her.
We're seeing more like her and even Scarlett
Mhm.
starting to get more active in the ring, which is good because they're both really talented too when it comes to in-ring work. But I mean, this is one of those things. I think the way the bracket shook out, we can kind of predict it's probably going to be Jade and Bianca because they're on separate sides. Now they did that for the women's Queen of the Ring too, and they ended up both not getting there. So who the fuck
or
knows?
one of them might one of them might not get themselves knocked out, and then
Yeah, and
you'll
then,
have
yeah.
a babyface heel
Yeah.
championship match at Saturday night's main event,
We'll see.
which is coming up, and we're excited to see how this tournament turns out. Now, 2.5 minutes ago, I said, I'm going to tell you what Vince McMahon would have done here.
Yeah, you were.
Now, Vince McMahon would have introduced this championship because Vince McMahon, he kind of listened to the fans, but he pumped it up like he always listened to the fans all the time. But it's always usually like half-assed. So he would have introduced this mid-card championship where we listen to the universe. He would have gave the championship to Charlotte Flair.
If she was healthy.
And
But he wouldn't have gave it to her. He would have made her win it. But I mean, like,
it would have been a situation, and I saw the reaction because I thought firsthand before the tournament bracket was released, and this was just announced. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a vehicle for Charlotte Flair to come back and win it and be the first United States championship. And overwhelmingly, you guys crapped on it.
yeah, no.
Which is fine.
Her story isn't for a mid-card championship. She's been a 14-time WWE champion. Her story is getting to 17.
Mm-hmm.
It's not winning the U.S. title, or if there's ever a different mid-card title or whatever. It's getting the overall women's championships up there.
And from a fan standpoint, when you are trying to introduce a new championship, yes, you are right in terms of you need to establish credibility.
Yeah.
Which technically Charlotte fits that. However, people are sick and tired of not necessarily Charlotte Flair herself. People like her,
Yeah.
but she needs a different story other than I'm back, I'm fighting for the championship.
Well, she's going to have that story again. But, I mean, there's avenues.
There needs to be a warm-up story. Like,
and also the problem was a lot of the champions were people she'd faced. Now, when she comes back, it could be Nia Jax. It could be Bianca, or it could be, Bianca and Charlotte obviously have some history, but it could be Jade. I mean, those could also just be feuds on a way to a championship match, but I think they have a money feud with Charlotte and Jade at some point. I think that this tournament could be the start of Jade's turn. I think they trust her a little bit more now. She's proven herself. They made her a champion. They've let her work with Bianca for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's comfortability there, and like, okay, now we can maybe see what you're going to do on your own. Whether that means losing the titles soon or whatever it is, I have no idea. But I think this is the start of that. They've teased it a little bit here and there. And Bianca's so over, it's going to be hard to turn her. So Jade is the natural. She's the one that talks into the camera. I'm so great. She technically is already acting like a heel. So, I mean.
She's she's not new per se,
Yeah.
but on the microphone, you could sense that she is building more confidence.
She is.
On the microphone,
Mhm.
in front of the crowd, behind the scenes. It's pretty good. Overall, though, we got, we're happy this has started.
Yes.
Tournament's underway. It's going to continue on SmackDown. Are they doing this on Raw?
No.
Or is this just SmackDown right now?
Right now, it's just SmackDown. We'll talk
Okay.
a little bit later about something else. I mean, I don't know if they're going to possibly think about another mid-card championship for Raw. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. And the other factor, too, if it is true that Raw and SmackDown are going to be 3 hours in January, both of them, then maybe you will
you might
get
need
a second.
You might need another championship for the women. Just saying.
You're going to need more. You're going to need some coffee. It's a 3-hour show. Anyway, we'll talk more about that. I got some thoughts, too, on the women's War Game match. I think we're going to do that next week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But we love this. The BA Sweetie Sweet Moment of the Week. The United States Championship Tournament is underway. A brand new champion will be crowned. A first-time champion will be crowned women's United States champion.
Yeah, these guys have been champions for 74 years.
BA Sweeties, of course.
No new title needed. That's all you need to know right there is that title that's on the screen.
The holiday season is here, and fresh candy has arrived, including the Shaq gummies.
Listen, if your rackety ass can go outside and put up your Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving, you can hop on down to BA Sweetie and get some fantastic holiday candy. I mean, it's like Halloween on steroids down there. If you've gone and you checked it out, and we talk about Halloween being the big candy, the big candy holiday, all that stuff. Christmas is like right there with it, man. I mean, and it starts now. Like this was stuff that Tom was getting weeks and weeks ago in the back, preparing, ready to go. Hey, let's get this stuff out there and get it moving. And again, if you guys want the variety, if you want the different kinds, if you're into the old school stuff too, I mean, this is the place to go. It's the largest candy store in North America.
And also, if you've never had it before, the classic sodas, pops, out of the glass bottles.
You wouldn't have happened to remember to bring those sodas, did you?
I'll bring them next week.
Oh, well,
I'll bring them in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll bring them in 2 weeks.
That's a good
But-
that's our reward for double taping.
Not the flavor I'm bringing in. Because here's the cool thing about BA Sweeties. They have fun. They have your classic flavors like Coca-Cola and a lot of your, Orange Crush and a lot of your favorites. And they have good flavored stuff too. But they also have fun, unique flavors that may or may not be suitable for for taste consumption. But hey, give it a shot. And Tom does a great job. It's so much fun there to just try those items out. Even if you just want to start a collection too of those bottles and just start stacking them up.
It's like the kids call it a vibe.
It is. It's fantastic. Interstate 480, Ridge Road exit. Make a left on Brook Park Road, and you'll see the giant lollipop. Turn right there and go right into the largest candy store in North America.
We've been doing this now for, you mentioned, about 6 months with BA Sweetie, and we still have not gotten anything of someone bringing a ladder and climbing and attempting to lick the lollipop, which is encouraging but also kind of depressing, if that makes sense.
We would like to remind our audience.
I have an in with the Brook Park Police, so I mean, if you want to take a chance, just give my name. I'll get a call. We'll figure it out.
We would like to remind our audience there was once a Christmas movie where the young man stuck his tongue on a lollipop, or on a pole actually, and his tongue remained there for a little while. So
I don't think the lollipop's metal. The pole is. Don't do it on the pole.
Don't do that. But do check this. Oh my God! Do check this commercial out where you can see.
They're gonna say, "Do lick this commercial."
No.
Make sure to lick your screen wherever you're at.
In Skycam form,
Looks that good.
The largest candy store in North America. the largest candy store in North America. You saw right there. You saw all the families that's there. That was the amazing thing. We were at BA Sweeties back at the top of October for Bad Blood pre-show. It was amazing just to see all the young kids in there and families and whatnot get excited. Grown adults get excited over candy, and yes, you can get your normal classics anywhere, but to get the special candies alongside the classics in the different varieties at BA Sweeties, it's an experience unlike any other, and it truly does smell like candy inside that building.
The first thing you're going to get hit with is a smell. Then you're going to open your eyes after getting smacked on the ground and wake up and stand up and look and see, oh my God, this place is so big. Where do I start? Wherever you want, and just work your way through. Trust me, it's worth the trip.
It is. It is. Of course, there's the address up top for our audio audience, 6770 Brook Park Road, Cleveland, Ohio, zip code 44129. And again, take the Ridge Road exit on Interstate 480, make a left on Brook Park Road, and you'll see a giant lollipop on your left. Turn there, and you get to BA Sweeties. Again, that's 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Ohio. And if you're coming from out of town, you got family coming from out of town.
Go.
20% of the clientele from out of town.
Over 100 miles away. When we were there at the pre-show for Bad Blood, the live show we had there from BA Sweetie, one of the families we talked to, Southern Illinois.
Unbelievable.
They drove, I think they told us like 7.5 hours just to get to the store. And they just do that.
Yeah.
They go with places like that. I mean, it's one of those things. It's a landmark. Cleveland, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, East 4th, BA Sweetie.
BA Sweeties. And Cavs basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Cavs basketball. Oh, my goodness.
Must see TV.
Must see. And this is must go to BA Sweeties. Check it out, of course. All right. Boy, Bloodline. Let's give you a quick update on the Bloodline, of course. Bronson Reed, the 5th member of the AA. Don't call him the Temu Bloodline anymore.
Because then Bronson Reed's going to splash your ass through the top of a Honda Civic.
Hey, listen. Temu has leveled up. I actually saw somebody with a sign that said Temu Bloodline.
Yeah.
I saw that. I said, you know what? Not anymore. Tangaloa. Yeah. But not anymore. Man, he's still struggling, dude.
Yeah. The problem is when you put that many strong professionals around him, and it only gets worse when he's actually fighting like Roman or Jay or one of those guys. Man, he just sticks out like a sore thumb, unfortunately. He'll be the first one to get kicked out somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
Whenever that time comes.
Yeah. Last week, we're going to talk about Seth Rollins here in like 2 seconds. Bronson Reed, first off. I love the introduction of Bronson Reed into this, and it makes sense logically from his standpoint.
He's from New Zealand, by the way. I feel terrible. I think it was last week when I called. Technically, that is Pacific Islander. But, I, for some reason, just blanked and didn't remember where he's from. So, if you'd like to go back in time and try and cancel me, by all means, do so. It's happened before.
But you know what? Bronson Reed joining this group, first off, from Bronson's standpoint, makes complete sense. He fits right in. You see it.
But he wants to stay in the main event. He said,
he wants to be in the main event and stay there.
Yeah. So
he wants to be there. And Solo has attempted to recruit any and everybody that may or may not have bloodline ties, and he landed on a hungry
Hippo. Which normally is offensive, but not in this case because hippos are the most dangerous animals in the world.
Hippos will effing kill you.
We're
not even joking. They will kill you.
Just remember, if I die from a hippo, know what I said before I got killed? Here, kitty.
Hey, Pete, can you look up how many
hippopotamus.
How many hippos
kill people per year?
Yeah.
This guy's been working all day, and you want him to do more work.
No, this hippo thing's actually pretty important since we brought it up now. Man,
Hippopotamus.
6 tsunamis, by the way, to Seth Rollins. I still can't get over that in early August.
Can you imagine a place getting hit with 6 tsunamis in a row?
Man, just. But you know what, though? Again.
Wipe out.
Includes. Oh, we got an answer. Go ahead, Pete.
500 people per year in Africa.
In Africa alone, 500 people per year die from hippopotamus attacks.
Estimates range 500 to 3,000 deaths per year.
500 to 3,000 deaths total per year, an estimate. That's wild. So yeah,
Ain't no hungry hippo.
more
jokes
people,
no more.
more people dying from hippos and sharks than anything else. Like, yeah, this is a thing.
You know, Discovery. Go ahead, Pete.
I heard more people die every year from cows than from sharks.
Yeah, sharks are very rare. Sharks don't want to fuck with you.
You know what? You know what? I'm calling it right now.
Pet a shark.
That's enough of Shark Week. Shark Week should be canceled.
Well, it's more
Shark
it's
Week.
informational.
Shark Week. No. We don't need information anymore on Shark Week.
I like sharks.
Shark Week has lost its appeal. Do you see a SeaWorld anywhere? I don't. So we need Hippo Week.
But I like sharks.
That's cool.
Double A, please don't take my sharks from me.
Sharks, no more. No more Shark Week. No more. Give me Hippo Week. Give me Cow Week.
Give me cow week.
Give me Mary Moo Cow Week.
Move over ratings.
Give me that. Discovery, no more sharks. No more. That's enough. After 30 years of Shark Week, they got celebrities. I know this take belong in like July, but who cares? They got celebrities. Oh, we're going to talk about how dangerous sharks are. And then you got Shaq.
No shit.
You got Shaq jumping into the water. Mike Tyson jumping into the water with sharks. You ain't seeing Mike Tyson fighting hippos.
That'd be worth a Netflix special.
That is a Netflix. That is a Netflix special worth buffering for.
I'm at our minds are a link with that because I was about to say that shit. Like right before.
That is what we're buffering for. I will stick around and watch that fucker circle around. Are you kidding me?
Give me that new age rainbow wheel. Come on.
Come on. How the hell did Netflix have the nerve to tell me my internet was effing up?
The funny part about mine was it was on 99% and it just kept spawning.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're literally 99% of the way there. Just finish the fucking job.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And going through I'm sitting there. We're going through the steps. We would like to troubleshoot your Netflix.
I'd like you to shut the fuck up and play this.
And then the very first question, or one of the questions, how many people are on your internet? As I look at my empty ass apartment.
Moi.
It's just one lonely soul here, waiting to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Totally.
Freaking fell asleep, by the way.
I know, so did I.
Yeah.
I told you, I watched, we got so off topic, but wow.
We talk about the Bloodline every week. Go ahead, man.
But I was waiting for the fight. And right when it started, right when they first got introduced, I get the ESPN notification that Jake Paul wins via decision. And I'm like, how bad is this fucking delay? All right, I got through the third round and I passed out. I was so tired.
I don't understand. So we came back from our high school football stuff.
Yeah.
And I walk in and they're on the studio panel. Very first thing I notice. Oh, Evander Holyfield. He can't hear his partners
Because he's missing that ear.
Yeah. We should have took that into account. I didn't see that in any reviews, by the way, of the broadcast. That's a big point. But he couldn't hear.
Extra big earmuffs they covered up.
Couldn't hear. And then so the host, Kate Scott, she was trying to relay questions to Lennox Lewis, who was sitting next to Evander Holyfield, to relay the questions.
God, it's like a retirement home.
Literally, Kate would be like, Lennox, so if you want to ask Evander Holyfield, who do you think is going to come out on top between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? And Lennox would lean over, and he would be like, so you think you could still spar with Mike Tyson? And Kate Scott is sitting there like, that was not my question. Can either of you guys hear?
No.
And then
I told you it was the retirement home for announcing. There was all these old boxers that have gotten their ass kicked by Mike Tyson, popping back out, like, "Hey,
man,
don't forget about me."
you know what? I know.
They should have got Connor to do it.
Yeah,
That'd been
I
fun.
know Dana White. You could take or leave his politics, but he was right about one thing. In UFC, it's action, 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 action.
Yeah.
There's always fights. There's fights. When the fight ends, give it 10 minutes, and the next competitors are walking down to the
let's
octagon.
move it the fuck along.
You got these guys telling the audience, "Well, we're over 30 minutes away from the next fight."
Originally, it was supposed to be on at 11. Then they pushed it to 12. Then it was like 12:45, almost 1 o'clock, and that's when it kind of started, and that's when I got the notification, and I'm like, man, I just waited all this time. Meanwhile, I watched I taped SmackDown, so I watched all that in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I still had a productive night, but
I couldn't believe
saw
it.
that.
And then when I tuned into Netflix, I watched that part, and I realized, as I was seeing the notifications from Twitter from what was going on, the women's fight. Oh, Netflix joined me in live an hour behind.
Fuckers.
So I flip over. Pete, you'll love this. I move ahead to the 8th round. I hear that the 7th round is the greatest round in the history of women's boxing. And then it goes to the scorecards, and the woman that was headbutting the other lady won the fight. Man, you would have thought Tony Khan was booking this.
Tama Tonga's pissed about that too. Look at him. He's like, oh
Look
my god.
at him. He had money on this fight. He lost. He lost.
I picked Serrano.
Oh,
what does that
man.
bank account look like right now? 0.
Back to the Bloodline.
Yeah.
That was our commentary on the Netflix broadcast. Good luck on Christmas Day, by the way. I'll say this too. They're going to be okay with Raw because that Tyson fight, I believe they reported that 60 million viewers tuned in.
Wow.
Worldwide, which is nuts.
That's insane.
Craziness. With all due respect to what we cover on a daily basis with wrestling,
no.
Monday Night Raw is not going to draw 60 million.
No, they'll get a couple if they're counting world views, because Netflix will be, I think, all over.
Correct. Yeah.
They'll get a couple million out of it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're gonna get that. You know what? I don't fucking know, because maybe they will, since it's streaming and it could be in Europe. It can be at the. I have no idea.
Let's say they get
What's
worldwide. I'm going to go let's go overly high number. Let's say 10 million.
I was gonna say like 10 million. A good
Yeah,
number?
let's
I don't
say
know.
10 million. It might be more realistically 5 million, but let's say 10 million, accounting for all the viewers around the world. Netflix will be prepared for those 10 million viewers,
because it's still gonna be only a sixth of what this pool.
Yeah, this was for all the crap that Netflix went over, and I believe me, it was a terrible broadcast. Number one, Netflix is not producing Monday Night Raw. WWE is producing Monday Night Raw. That won't be a problem. For you football fans, they're not even producing the Christmas games. I think CBS is producing the games.
Yeah.
So production-wise, you're going to be okay. It's just they needed to know how many servers, they need to rebound. But I think for Raw every week, I think they'll be okay. Back to the Bloodline. I know last week we talked a ton. We talked extensively about, before we had EC3 and Amanda Casey on last week, we talked extensively in our sweet moment about Seth Rollins' possible inclusion into this fight. And all signs point to him being involved as the 5th guy for the OG Bloodline. And I know we had a productive discussion about it. I just can't bring myself around this, in my opinion, making sense. You might have to sell me again on how this will make sense.
Well, from Raw, when Seth was attacked at the end by Solo or was distracted, I mean, now they've gotten involved in his business. It's a way to get his hands on Bronson, and let's be honest, Bronson's the 5th guy. Seth has nothing to do on Survivor Series. So, logic says, okay, Seth needs to be in the match, if only to get to Bronson. And he even said, I would team with you, Jay. I would team with you, Sammy. I would team with you, Jimmy. But I don't want to team with Roman. There's going to be some sort of moment because Sammy made a good point. Last year, Seth did it with Cody,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who he has publicly said, even off of character, that he has distaste for and hate. And there's some rage and jealousy in there with that relationship, probably still. But he teamed with him.
Mm-hmm.
So storyline wise, and this guy was a tag team champion with Roman Reigns.
Correct. Yeah.
He knows the potential they have, and there's a reason why he didn't join Solo and getting on that side because he knows there's only one Roman Reigns.
Right. That part was made clear.
So
That was made clear. I think my only thing is just they've been through so much,
Yeah.
and this is different from like what Sammy and the Usos, Sammy and Jay specifically, what they went through. This is different. This is Seth Rollins, who, for all intents and purposes, in the kayfabe world of professional wrestling, pretty much killed himself, sacrificed himself for the greater good of WWE against the OG Bloodline.
Yeah.
You even had, and I love this part of the story, where in the recruiting process, good guys, LA Knight and other great guys who you root for, they want nothing to do with the Bloodline.
Right.
All the damage that they have done over the last 4 years.
You know,
I love in the recruiting is showing, your actions do have consequences.
what's conspicuous about all this is the fact that Kevin Owens hasn't got involved at all. Sammy's been on SmackDown. KO's been around. He has said nothing about his best friend, his true best friend, getting back with the OG Bloodline. But he was pissed off at Cody for teaming with Roman once. I'm curious to know what that dynamic is. Because
Can he be involved in 2 stories in one?
I think after this Cody thing settles, which I imagine will be after Survivor Series whenever they announce that championship match, there's got to be some sort of... If he's going to get that pissed at Cody Rhodes for teaming with Roman and then for Randy for siding with Cody, how is he okay with Sammy being part of the Bloodline again? Like, he's a full-fledged member again. He's back wearing the shirt. He's doing the whole thing. He's doing the dance. He's doing all that shit, right?
Correct.
I mean, what the fuck? He's not going to say anything about that? I don't... That's where the realism of this can kind of come full circle. I think he needs to say something. I don't think it needs to be a huge moment, but backstage. Maybe Sammy's at SmackDown this week. Because Kevin's going to be at SmackDown. They cross paths for a moment. Kevin gives Sammy a hug, and then he's like, I love you. But what the fuck? And then just walks away.
It has to be, I think it even has to be more subtle than that.
Maybe it's a look.
I think it's just a look.
Whatever.
In the Triple H universe where that's possible,
it needs to be.
I think
those two have been so connected. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were part of the reason they helped Seth and those guys tear down the OG Bloodline. Like, they won the titles from him in the main event of 39.
Yeah.
And now, Sammy, you're back with these fucking clowns?
Yeah.
I thought I had to deal with this enough with Cody and his issues, teaming with fucking Roman, through all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Now you're here? You were with me. We helped raise Cody up. We were in the ring with him when he beat Roman and it fell. And now all of a sudden, 6 months later, you're sucking his dick?
These are great points.
I'm just...
I mean...
and to say nothing.
No, these are great points.
And he's already unhinged, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like that needs to be something.
We got to figure out... We're going to talk... We'll talk about it in a second here. We got to figure out if KO could be this locked in, as you said, on Cody. Is that, Sammy was doing just fine. Jey Uso was doing just fine. And then all of a sudden...
It's family, Oos.
It's family.
I get Jay and Jimmy. And to an extent, you can get... If you're not Kevin Owens, you can get Sammy because he was a part of that. He made that story really entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And he endeared himself to those 3. So, there was a lot there, whether Roman says it at all or not.
Mm-hmm.
Roman's still a heel. I hate to break it to you guys, but Roman Reigns is still a heel. He has not done anything to this point.
He is not.
He said yeet one time. That's all he's done. To make me think that he's had any sort of change at all. And even then, it was aggressive, and it was not like a fun yeet. It was a...
So how
yeet.
will Roman Reigns recruit the 5th member? Because when we last left off, He attempted to call Paul Heyman, the wise man, Paul Heyman,
Let's save that
for next week.
No, because on Hear Me Out,
Gotcha.
I have a scenario that likely won't happen, but that's the point. It's Hear Me Out is to essentially give you a thing that probably won't happen and explain why it should. So,
All right, let's move on to this man. He is the
adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes.
That's your champion.
Oh, he's fucked.
That's your champion.
The ultimate heel, Cody Rhodes. Ladies and gentlemen. Looked like a Bond villain
Look at him.
with the
You-
watch and the blonde hair
You old,
and the neck tattoo.
you old AEW killer. Look at you. Look at you. Speaking of AEW killer, CM Punk coming back anytime soon?
We'll get to that in a minute.
All right. Cody Rhodes. As we have just made mention, he is not currently in the Bloodline story. If you did predictions a month ago, and with this War Games, I would have said Cody would be the fifth guy
Yeah.
on OG Bloodline's team.
Also, kind of interesting they haven't gone to him. Jay didn't go
At
to him.
all.
Sammy didn't go to him.
Yeah.
Do you wonder? Okay, so I'm piecing together segments here, but maybe the reason why Sammy didn't go after Cody is because of Kevin, and maybe they've had conversations where Kevin understands. Like Sammy had an actual connection to these guys, whether Kevin likes it or not. At least you were part of it. But yeah, Cody needs to be my focus. You do your thing, whatever. But Cody's mine.
I still want to know why Sammy took that phone out of his pocket, threw it on the couch. When
Is Sammy sabotaging the bloodline?
Jesus.
What if he all along was? That'd be
That's
wild.
That is.
I'm here for it. I want to see what the fuck happens. And then, so continuity too with the storytelling. Not to give Cody the cold shoulder for a moment, but remember when the last time Paul Heyman tried to call Roman Reigns,
Right.
and Solo took the phone out of the hand and crushed it.
Correct.
So obviously, when Roman tried to call Paul, no phone because the number is disconnected.
But supposedly, Paul Heyman has two phones.
One for the plug and one for the load.
Yeah.
I got two phones. All right, sorry.
Yeah, he does. He has two phones.
I Kevin Gates to you. I'm sorry.
I know. That was good too. That was really good.
You didn't think I had that
But-
reference in there.
But like,
I Muller would know your ass. Cheekbones and all.
wrote.
Look like he belonged on Corpse Bride. Proceed.
Dude, that whole broadcast, man. Oh Lord. God, that was terrible.
Mm.
We should have produced it.
So,
Man.
yeah, Netflix, we could say what we want.
True. The Rock. We'll talk more in next week's show about maybe how that plays.
Yeah, who the
into it.
fuck knows?
Who knows? But The Rock. And we still don't know. He came out of bad blood. He put the fingers up, and then he left.
I should let my imagination run wild and say that he recruited Sammy and he's sabotaging everything.
See, this is where I kind of wish a little bit I was a comic book nerd a little bit, because I'm trying to think of like relatable stories. That if this happened in Marvel Comics or something, where a Sami Zayn type character
Flash.
would come back in, doing well, would come back in and destroy the family again from within.
What if he found a way, where I can beat Solo and dismantle that, but also fuck you guys over too?
But he's like this with Jay, and I think Jimmy.
Nah,
I think Jimmy.
they're not there yet.
They're getting there. But
Yeah.
Jay for sure. But
What's the price to play to keep a
What-
dictator out of power? Roman hasn't changed.
I know.
Sorry. He's done two things. He said yeet one time and he speared Solo for Sammy, but he was still spearing Solo. It wasn't like he went out of his way to spear someone that was just attacking Sammy randomly. It was
Yeah.
in the feud, in the fight, in the moment. So, and he has his own personal goals. He wants to be tribal chief again. He doesn't really care about anybody else.
Yeah.
He just still has the individual goal of becoming that again. Instead of fighting truly for his family, he's fighting for himself.
Let's go. Let's move along here to Cody again, like we was mentioning before. you brought this up to me. Are you concerned with Cody? What's your take here with Cody not being involved in a bloodline story? Now, again, he's involved in a critical story, but the genesis of the story is really more from KO and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And, of course, Randy Orton, injury angle, pile driver, which, by the way, was used in a regular AEW match last night in the opener. Regular move.
Was like El Toro Blanco versus Orange Cassidy.
It was, I think the guy's name was Mark Davis. He was in a 6-man tag. Will Ospreay was in the match.
How the fuck are they on TV? I don't understand.
By the way, did you know Orange Cassidy, he's going to be in their championship match against Jon Moxley in their pay-per-view. Full Gear this Saturday. Orange Cassidy. Anywho, back to this championship feud here.
Sorry, I fell asleep.
Are you... What I guess what's your take here? Are you concerned here, or because you brought this up?
Yeah, I think I've seen some things about people just being disinterested right now in Cody because he's not involved in the biggest story in the company, which is the Bloodline shit, for the first time since like 2 Royal Rumbles ago. Like he's always kind of been in the background. We've been waiting. We knew, and now you really don't know. Like we always do. Hey, Cody's going to chase the title. He's going to get back to it. He's going to get back to it. He might not get back to the Bloodline before WrestleMania. I don't know. I mean, this could be we talked about the Randy KO thing could be to get through Royal Rumble, and then it could be Randy. I mean, we don't know. I mean, this is uncharted waters for Cody as champion because we always felt like he was going to find his way back to Roman or to Rock or whoever. Right now, there's no clear indication that either one of those or both or together is going to happen. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. I love this. I love it. We've talked all year long since Cody has won the championship that he needed a non-bloodline defining feud. That, when he had the championship, because of what you just said, he was always in the shadow of the bloodline. And obviously with Roman being gone during the summer, the at the time Temu bloodline was cooking a little bit. It was simmering. But Cody was, he had the feud with AJ Styles, but it was great matches, but we knew he was going to overcome there. It was filler. It was all filler feuds. Even Logan Paul, filler feud. And then he came. This right here, this is what we're waiting for now. This is going to define Cody Rhodes as champion a little bit here. How is he going to respond to a Kevin Owens who, let's be real about where Kevin Owens right now is as a character. I am more interested now in Kevin Owens than I have been in years with Kevin Owens because of the intensity and its focused intensity.
He's doing his job.
It's a mission statement. He's like, I'm just doing my job. I'm showing up to work, but it's focused intensity. And for whatever reason, he is zeroed in on Cody, and at some point, you're right about the Sammy part. And Cody has shown the necessary fire that you want to see from the face of the company, from your world champion. He's like, look, he kind of gave the same speech that Randy Orton gave to to Triple H. He was like, look, I understand, you're wearing a suit and tie, but you're a wrestler. You know that I need to do something about this. I need him in this ring. And KO's response is perfect. I am very, very intrigued to see how this plays out on Friday when they face off. These next 2 Fridays, when they face off. It's a double taping, by the way. How they face off and how the championship match is going to be. I'm really excited about Cody and KO because I think this could... I don't envision Randy Orton returning for a little while. I think part 1 is going to be Survivor Series. Maybe, if you want a big splash, maybe part 2 is Saturday night's main event.
We'll see.
I mean, we'll see. But you're right. It is uncharted territories because we thought Cody would be the 5th guy with the bloodline. Cody, and if you want Cody to face I'll say this. I think Cody's match with The Rock, is that still on the table
I don't know.
for April?
The big floating thing behind all this too is the status of Drew McIntyre. We talked about him before, obviously. Hey, healing up, crazy match, all that good shit. Does he come back on SmackDown? Because I don't think him and Punk are going to be on the same show.
They can't be.
And Punk will be on Netflix. He will be on Raw. So, logically says, Drew goes to SmackDown. That could be a hell of a feud.
Could be. That's a lot of good stuff. There's a bright future for Cody Rhodes. He just has to stick with it here. All right. By popular demand.
Hear me out here. Spelled incorrectly.
Hear me out here. It's coming back.
It's so stupid.
Hear me out here.
And now it's like the thing.
It's the thing right now. Now hear me out. It's back when we come back. But this time it's Kyle's turn. Kyle says he wants to do this. He gave you a little teaser a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
what he's going to talk about.
Double A has no idea. I don't
even know.
When we sent the rundown, I made sure not to tell him.
Yeah,
so.
He did not tell me. So that's coming up. And I told him, even when it's his turn, we're keeping this. So that's coming up in just a bit. Rapid fire as well. And our special guest interview coming up as well. But first, let's hear from B.A. Sweetie. And let's hear from, we got some news from Mike from State Farm. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here too. But let's take you back to Tom from B.A. Sweeties. Tom, do you know where everything is here in the store?
No.
Okay.
In a general idea, I do, but I can't tell you how many times my office is on the floor of the store,
Right.
And my door is always open. All our managers' doors are always open if they're there. So if any customer has a question or whatever, if they can't find an employee, stock guy or whatever on the floor, they can just, hey, where's this at? So I can't tell you how many times a customer would come in and say, can you tell me where sugar-free candy is? And I'll say 12N. No, I say no, 12S.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And it says it's right down. Go down this way because you're in aisle 7 now. 5 more aisles or whatever. And then I'll think about it after they leave, and I'm like, oh man, I told them the wrong aisle. It's aisle 13.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So, that's what I look to do, is to truly help people, get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure. But if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible, I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do. And that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
well, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
So, B.A. Sweeties, you heard for that earlier. Let's talk a little bit about Mike from State Farm.
I brought the cup in today.
You did?
Because, and there's Mike's information on there. He gave us cups. You can't see it because it's kind of blurry, but I'm trying to turn it so he can't focus that.
Well, you can see his phone number. We'll give his phone number right now.
Yeah, there it is.
216.
Right, hold on. Right there.
216-932-6900. 216-932-6900.
Try to do the Pixar bouncing eye thing.
I see, yeah.
Didn't work.
Now,
I'm ashamed.
You saw during the commercial what Mike from State Farm, what he does, what he's capable of doing. And he's going to hook you up in terms of everything.
You feel lonely? You wanted to hold something?
As far as we always cover up his website. But,
Okay. That's why you did that. Okay. Whatever you say, bud.
But
You want a hug later, or what's going on?
But insurance, it's the one thing that is very important. Sometimes it's very awkward. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable conversation. Many times it's a very uncomfortable conversation. No matter what type of insurance you're discussing. And policy rates, there are some companies, let's just be real, they're ripping you off. They're taking full advantage of you. They're not willing to work with you. They're just taking your money, and they don't care about you at all. This is not the case here with Mike from State Farm. He will take the time to get to know you, to get to know your family, to get to know everything that's going on with your life and everything. And he's going to level with you. His entire team is going to figure all things out for you as far as insurance, all the important things that you need, Kyle.
Honestly, it's a different kind of experience when you deal with Mike, just from a standpoint of how emotionally invested he's in all of his clients, the people that reach out to him. And I mean, we can even say from our perspective, meeting him for the first time and expecting a 10, 15, 20-minute meeting and then not leaving for an hour and a half because we were so engaged with him and just the conversation he brings and the life experience he has and what he's been able to do in a few years now working as a State Farm agent, and what he's been able to do for the people of Northeast Ohio is truly special, whether it's again, home, auto, life insurance, which is something people don't think about. I know we haven't thought about it too much. He obviously turned us onto that pretty quick as far as thinking about our next steps for our future.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got some big stuff coming up in your near future in your life. Obviously, I have a son, so it's all things you kind of put into perspective. And Mike does such a great job of doing that without terrifying you. Because there's a lot of things. Insurance is one of those things like we've talked about too, where you hope you never have to use it, but you're so glad you have it there as that security blanket for when something does, if it does happen, you feel safe, you feel protected in those different assets of whatever it could be.
Especially now with winter coming up. I once was in a car accident on Christmas Eve. I was in a car accident.
That explains your limp.
Yeah. A couple years ago.
I thought it was a pimp walk at first.
Pimp juice. Woo! I'm sorry. Serious. That was completely random. But accidents are random. And with winter coming up, the first snowfall is actually going to happen later today, actually.
Boo.
And, other things are going on and stuff. If something does happen, you want to be protected before, the accident, before, God forbid, if you fall into that situation, State Farm's going to take care of you. And Mike from State Farm, and State Farm took care of me when I had that incident a couple years ago. And Mike from State Farm, he's going to take care of you, where you can get back on your feet, no problem. You have that protection.
And then after, of course, you deal with the important stuff for your insurance, then I want you to play a joke on Mike, and I want you to ask him about volcano insurance. You're welcome, buddy. Hey! Yeah, you never know. Hey, Yellowstone could blow at any point.
MyFavoriteAgent.com. That's where you can check him out. Also, the State Farm app. You can type in his name in there and get his information. And he is located in Cleveland Heights on the corner of Lee and Mayfield, Lee Boulevard, Mayfield Road. And again, his phone number, 216-932-6900. The cool thing about Mike from State Farm, if this is your first time tuning into our show, he's not just a State Farm agent. He has been, for the last several months, training to be a professional wrestler. He is best friends with EC3. He grew up with EC3 in the east side of Cleveland. And we got news. At Exodus Pro, Usual Suspects, last Saturday, we were all there. And we thank everybody, by the way, for tuning in. Great numbers for those tuning in for EC3 and Amanda Casey last week. They were in studio. And we got some news. And again, that's EC3 there in the picture, Mike from State Farm. He's going to be taking the uniform off because on Kyle's shoulders, it was announced on that show that Mike from State Farm is going to have his first match at this show.
Begin Again. Exodus Pro Wrestling on January 18th. Tickets are already on sale, so make sure you guys obviously go find the links, obviously, on our social medias too, everything, and get tickets while you can. It's going to sell out pretty quick. This is going to be a huge show, beyond the fact that it is the debut of Mike from State Farm, and he is facing Strictly Business, Brandon Beretta, and may God have mercy on Mike's soul. I watched Brandon Beretta pick up an actual trucker that was honking in the ring, who weighed probably twice as much as I do, and I am a big man. Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch, Mike. Best of luck. Holy God.
January 18th, MLK weekend. You get to watch Mike from State Farm debut in the ring. You're going to see his very first match. You might see his last match.
Yeah. We'll see what Brandon decides to do with him. Over under how many times he gets folded into a pretzel. I love you, Mike, but man, I am concerned for your health.
The week of, we're going to try to get both of them in studio.
Yes.
We're going to try to get both of them on.
If we can get them to coexist, we'd like them both to come on the show. Like I said before, and you guys are going to actually find out a little bit later too, down the road. We have a few more things in the irons in the fire, if you will, with Exodus Pro Wrestling. They've been great to us, and we obviously want to return the favor and give them a platform as well when it comes by either interviews or possibly something even more special that we can talk about in a few weeks. So,
real quick, before we move on with the show, I do want to acknowledge it was announced over the weekend that Amanda is leaving Exodus Pro, and again, and nothing bad or anything like that. It's all good stuff.
She's busy.
They had a full post. We were in a couple of those photos. By the way,
we were, yeah.
we were in it. LPV Productions was in there. What was interesting?
Don't look at Pete for approval. Just say it and be happy and move on. That's my job. I tell jokes.
All kidding aside, we don't have this relationship at all with Exodus Pro. EC3 is not in the studio twice. He's not in the studio without Amanda giving this podcast, giving you the fans an opportunity.
Yeah, we wouldn't be mashing dicks with EC3 if it wasn't for Amanda Casey. So we appreciate her for that. And obviously she was the bridge to Terabithia that combined us all together. And we're super thrilled for that relationship. And still a friend of the show. Amanda may even come watch some shows with us. She just has so much going on professionally in her life when it comes to jobs she's trying to do. And, it just became too much. And she's kind of trying to pass a torch to someone else to take the reins. I've heard Double A is actually interested in possibly doing some hosting for XO Pro. We're going to talk to EC3 about that. Maybe there's a possibility where we could actually talk about hosting one of the shows. I would wear a suit for that.
I don't know if Double A can pull off the dress.
I mean, I think Double A could definitely wear a dress.
Man, y'all should have saw.
You could be my Bonnie. I'll be your Clyde.
You should have saw what I wore at Halloween. That was good.
Oh, I have a picture of you on my camera roll that I'm going to share at some point.
Good old happy day.
No, you got a beautiful wig on in that picture, and I've been holding on to that for a special occasion. Maybe the 1 year anniversary.
Oh, screw it. Oh, shoot.
We got to go big for that one.
Hold up. That's the same week as the show.
Yeah. I can think of nothing better than for our 1 year anniversary episode to get Brandon Beretta and Mike from State Farm in the same building before their match. I think that is
I
a
thought
gift.
he was going to take that a different path. I was going to shut that down.
Why does your mind always go there?
I thought he was going to
It's like
take
you've done a show with
path.
me for a year.
I was going.
God.
You're right. You are right. All right, let's move on.
Get your mind out of the missing teen who's been gone for 15 years, otherwise known as the gutter.
All right, we got to move on because, again, we're doing a double taping.
We
we still got to do another show.
I don't have my watch. I have no idea what time it is. Late as fuck.
Work is going to suck tomorrow. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware.
Hear me out. It's Kyle's turn. It's not even my turn, but the stipulation with this segment is that my face is still a part of this, no matter what.
And the misspelling of opus. Hear me out here.
Here.
Illiterate bastards. All right, pick that one up. All right, so hear me out. I think there should be a different fifth member for the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series. Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out here, okay?
Okay. Here.
So, Paul Heyman is the wise man, correct?
Correct.
Paul Heyman has connections all throughout the wrestling industry, correct?
Correct.
What are Paul's ties to Seth Rollins? This is not a trick question, by the way. None. That's
none.
correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if the wise man is to come back and to engage with his original bloodline brethren, who would he turn to join this group who not necessarily has had issues? He hasn't really had any issues. Some would say he actually respects all the members of this group. Some would say he's talked multiple interviews when he does one a year on eventually sharing the ring with Roman Reigns.
Ooh.
Hear me out. CM Punk should be the 5th member of the OG Bloodline. Now, this is not going to fucking happen, but it makes all the sense in the world for Paul to align himself with Punk and throw another wrench in this, because it would be pretty good damn TV.
Listen, I would rather for that to happen.
It's
than
the
to have
1 year
Seth
anniversary.
Rollins, than to have Seth Rollins in that
CM
match.
Punk, we talked about 1 year for us. It'd be 1 year at Survivor Series for him
Remember,
since coming back. He looks good. He was doing an interview with fucking Pete Rosenberg.
remember back in April, right after WrestleMania, one of the things that established Solo's bloodline to be dangerous and untouchable for who he grabbed. Remember, CM Punk was deemed untouchable by Paul Heyman. And remember, and I'm saying it, Kyle did not prep me on who he was going to say. I'm live reacting here. He was deemed untouchable. There's a reason going all the way back to CM Punk's original run in WWE, when CM Punk had the 431-day WWE Championship reign, that Paul Heyman was on his side.
They feuded after that when he faced Brock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar's not untouchable
No,
in the world of the bloodline.
but CM Punk
CM
was.
Punk is.
Well, he told Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns agreed
Mm-hmm.
that CM Punk would not be touched.
See, and how would and you mentioned the recruiting.
There'd be no recruiting.
The recruiting would be from Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman wouldn't even do it on screen.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a surprise the day of, kind of like how he returned in the first place. Surprise day of, nobody knew.
So I wonder.
Paul says, don't worry. I have someone. He has said yes, he will be there.
I want you to pin something for next week's show. The announcement of the War Games match. Solo's bloodline. You have your 5 members.
Yes.
OG bloodline. Only 4 members are announced. Paul Heyman says, we have a 5th member. He will be there. Speculation runs wild. To me, that knocks out Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins could be that 5th guy. We could speculate, and we will next week, that Seth Rollins could be the 5th guy. Could be, fans will say The Rock. Not like insider fans, but like general fans who don't keep up.
The one person, I'm not excluding a possible appearance, but we can probably exclude The Rock from being on Roman's team.
Right, I'm just saying, like,
I know what
minds
fans are gonna
will
say.
roll from those who don't follow insider wrestling like we do, and like most of you do. Like The Rock would formulate. Maybe Cody, but Cody would be out.
He's busy.
Maybe Braun Breaker.
He might have a match with Sheamus.
He might, yeah. He might have a match there. There's a couple others. I love CM Punk in that spot. I love CM Punk in that spot.
There's really only 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Punk or Rollins.
And Drew McIntyre's a heel, so it won't be him.
There's also a possibility he won't do that. There's also a possibility that...
I thought Drew McIntyre was a possibility on Solo's team.
Nope.
Before the Bronson thing.
Nah, I would never. Drew, anything Bloodline related, Drew wants nothing to do with that. The reason why I never trusted Jay, he was never going to get involved with that ever again, if he didn't have to. The thing I could think of that could possibly happen is Seth is announced. He decides one night, we're putting this shit aside because I want to get my hands on Bronson Reed. I don't even care about Solo and those guys, but he cost me my match with Bronson. I want to get back at him, but I want Bronson in a cage. That's why I'm doing this. Not because of you, not because of them. That. And Seth gets attacked before the match by Bronson. He gets put out. That invokes Paul to make a call.
I like CM Punk in that spot way more than Seth Rollins. I hope that.
But now you also think about this too. It's a reason why it's the Hear Me Out is because I don't think CM Punk's last two matches should both be essentially Hell in a Cell matches. Like he should not be in a fucking cage again. It
almost becomes like an Edge situation where every time there's a TLC match, you got to put Edge in there. Every time, it's
just coincidence because it's Paul and because who else is he going to turn to?
In a War Games. Again, we'll break it all down, but in a War Game scenario,
you can get away with it. You don't have to jump off shit.
Yeah.
Just hit him with a chair, and take a few bumps, and you're all good.
Yeah, hit him with a chair, kind of see what happens, and then...
I knew you were going to like that. That's why when I thought of it in the shower, I was like,
oh. But you didn't remember that earlier.
I didn't. For some reason,
How important was it to you?
It was about the Royal Rumble at first when in my head. I'm like, wait, that's not true because you had the Royal Rumble take. You want Dom to win.
I do. I still do.
All right.
Still do.
He might.
Let's talk about. Let's go through rapid fire again. Stay tuned. We got a special interview coming up in just a few minutes. Becky Lynch says she's not done. I don't have a question out of it, but you just said will she return? Is she in line to return pretty soon?
She basically said in an interview that if you think the last thing I'm gonna be on screen for is getting my face slammed in a cage door by Dominic Mysterio, you're sorely mistaken. So, yeah, no, she's coming back. The question is when. She deserved a vacation. She was going to take one earlier than planned, but obviously Rhea's injury kind of forced her to jump into that world championship feud with Liv and everything. So, she'll come back at some point. My guess is probably Royal Rumble season. It gives her a little more time to enjoy the holidays. And then I think once Raw goes to Netflix, it's going to be all hands on deck, and I think that includes Becky Lynch.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk a little bit more about the Netflix aspect on the shows ahead from now, but from the sense I'm gathering, too,
everyone's going to be there.
Everyone will be on the Netflix shows, and then, you'll do a little brand split, kind of see what happens. We talked a little bit about this earlier in the show, but quick take here. Women's Intercontinental Championship, I think is on the way, too, with the expanded shows.
3 words for that one. Needs to happen.
You brought up a name I completely forgot about. Gable Stevenson?
Gable Steveson.
Yeah. That's how much I forgot about the dude.
He basically said, I'm open to coming back to WWE someday. This is a guy that was fired and who Shawn Michaels said didn't have it. This guy won gold medal. He's going to try and do it again in wrestling. He's going back to Minnesota to wrestle again.
That's the thing. It's not about him wanting to come back to WWE. WWE has to accept him.
Yeah.
And he has to show that, hey.
He didn't have it in NXT. He had a moment with a couple guys, but it never really got to that next level. We'll see. He's still super young, though. So, I mean, you never know. But.
I'm going to throw one more in here. This might be more for me. Pre-taped Joe Tessitore.
I think he's, you know what? I came out, not of the closet, but of my takes earlier in September, I think it was when he started. I wasn't a fan. I'm still not all the way there. He's gotten a little better, which when you're dealing with a professional like him, you're going to get better. But just something still just doesn't.
The thing that I get it. The thing that bothered me, and you could, again, this is more of an appreciation of Michael Cole because when they do double tapings and stuff, you could still see the announcers talking in sync. Not once, watching Raw this past Monday, when they show shots of the announcers, you didn't see their mouth move at all.
They were editing and putting lines in.
They were putting stuff. This was almost like early 2000s SmackDown post-production editing
Yeah.
that you saw there. It might have been one of Tessitore's better performances just because there were more like, this is coming up, this is what happened, this is what they're doing, and this is the next show, and this is that. Get this promo in, do this, and all that. And Joe Tess actually tossing it to break instead of Wade Barrett. But it's just, I don't know. It was just a little off. All right. We got something special coming up here for you right now. So behind Kyle, this is Megan Gallagher. Now Megan and I actually went to BG together. But that's not why she's on the show.
I need to hear that one more time. I swear to God.
Oh, you will in a couple minutes when we play the interview.
Oh, God, it's like Back to the Future in real life.
So, we both have, all of you have been along in our journey here this almost year now, growing the show. And somewhere along the line, it's like, what are better strategies to grow and reach out to more business partners and more sponsors and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
And Megan was in the news business for years. Worked in Toledo, worked producer with Channel 3, worked with Jim Donovan, the late, great Jim Donovan, worked with many others at Channel 3. Now works, has her own thing going on. And she started her own video marketing company. And I think it's interesting, she calls her business a side hustle. Side hustles helping side hustles.
It's almost like it was meant to be.
Almost meant to be.
If only she went to Toledo and not BG. This close to being the perfect person.
So she has already lined up several small businesses here locally here in Cleveland. And she puts together promotional videos and commercials to get the word out for these businesses. So we want you guys to check this interview out. Megan, she was in studio with us. He's going to wear different clothes for this interview.
This is that wardrobe change I was telling you about back in the first hour of the show.
But we want you to check this out because she has a lot of great things to offer. And I think you'll be excited about what she's doing and the partnership that we've established with her company, not just for the show, but also with CVC TV, our high school stuff that we do here in Cleveland. So we can't wait. So check it out right now. This is Megan Gallagher joining us right here on the Side Hustle podcast.
You gonna put like a fancy edit in where it does like a crazy little like transition screen?
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Fuck yeah. Star wipe.
All right, welcome back. Side Hustle podcast. All your audio and video platforms. Anthony Alfred, Kyle Cornell. And we're at a point right now where, we want small businesses. We're a small business. We want,
Don't talk about yourself like that.
I have big faith in myself and whatnot.
Small man, big faith.
That's big confidence, big man confidence.
That's
right.
right.
Here.
Did you tell him?
But as we're growing the show and whatnot and try to reach more audiences and whatnot, I go through social media and the internet, and I came across somebody who I have known and seen from afar, and fellow BG alum Megan Gallagher.
Oh God, this set just got
I
a
think he's
lot
doing
worse.
Kyle is a Toledo alum.
Sorry. I still showed up today, so.
She's powering through it. I appreciate that. Yeah.
By the way, I still owe a ton of money to BG, which is actually why Megan's here. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
yeah.
She's here to collect. All right, let's go.
But she has a very special company that she has started on her own. Her story is very interesting, which we'll talk about in a second. But it is Omega. You actually see here, Omega Video Marketing.
Yes.
And Megan is here to talk about her company and our new partnership. We're going to team up here on the Side Hustle podcast, as well as CVC TV, our high school sports package as well. So we're going to team up. I'm happy to have you here. We're both happy.
Yeah.
First off, what led to all of this? Like, why did you decide to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it does go back to Bowling Green. Seriously, like I did journalism school there, and worked in TV news for almost 10 years as a producer. And so obviously I got really comfortable and good at just taking a story and figuring out how best to tell it and how it looks, like how best it might look. And honestly, I just kind of got to the point where I was like, what else is out there for me? Like, maybe I don't need to work weekends and overnights and all these things for the rest of my life. So that really was like part of my decision to leave TV. And now I've been doing marketing for almost 2 years. And it's been great. And I've obviously learned a lot, like on the analytics side, and also just like kind of, I would even just say perfecting things, because I have more time now and I'm not under like a daily deadline every day. And so that kind of honed in those skills, but I really miss storytelling. I mean, it's definitely still my passion. And yeah, honestly, I just kind of kept having this idea of like, I could do this. I think I could make this work. And I reached out to one friend one day who was opening a nail salon. And I was like, hey, like, would this be a crazy idea if I like kind of launched this on you? And she was like, no, I love it. And it really did. I mean, her first video did so well. I've had a lot of videos that have done really well. And I just, combined my journalism and my marketing experience to create this little side hustle. So I appreciate being on the Side Hustle podcast.
That's why this is fitting, Kyle.
It is.
Yeah.
When one side hustle meets another
Yes,
side hustle,
we love it.
It's like a superpower.
Mhm. Yeah. And I can understand like small businesses now that I wouldn't say that I have like a small business. It's my side hustle for sure. But I understand like the amount of time it takes to get something together. Like these small businesses, it's hard to find a lot of time to do your job and then social, but you have to have good socials now. And that's obviously what I've learned a lot about in my marketing role. So kind of combined it all. And here we are. It's been almost 6 months, I think. So
What's been the biggest adjustment leaving that? Because I was in the radio
Yes.
news industry as well,
Right,
and kind
yeah,
of
we
worked
all-
through. We all got
we're-
that background a little bit. And it's a bit different when you kind of get into
Yeah.
something like this. For us, we're kind of more open now. We can say things we normally couldn't
Mhm.
say. I can say words that I won't say because we're in the presence of a lady. But nevertheless, I mean, you kind of
Should
have.
watch the rest of the show. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, the timing of everything is so weird to
Mhm.
really have time to like craft something. What else? I mean, just like everything. But truly, like I found a lot of fulfillment, obviously, from TV and just having the room to be so creative. But then I find little ways that I like being creative in marketing, like whether it's designing something, kind of like digging into some analytics to really understand why something works. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like, because they all mean a lot to me now, like every single adjustment, because I think it really has brought me to this point. So it's all been an adjustment, but it's funny how some things were I kind of already understood, but some things I didn't. Like, truly, I do think running any kind of marketing campaign, if you were able to create like a series on TV or in radio, like where you knew what you were talking about every other week or every other day, or like you were able to take one giant story concept and kind of piece it out, that's essentially what we do in a marketing campaign. It's just it's definitely more elements to a marketing campaign than just like, do the interview, chop it up. Like, so that's been a huge adjustment. And also just knowing like the best times to post things, because it used to be, oh, well, I'm working on this for X show, so throw it in that show. But now it's like, okay, I created this video, I don't want to let it flop. Like, when can I maximize the time that I'm going to be sharing it? And the same with how I do with like our social posts for my current job and emails for my current job, like all of these things that matter so much. And just like kind of even understanding like consumer mindset and like even just the human psyche, like, what can you do to make someone care about what you do? And I think that applies a lot to this side hustle as well.
You know what's amazing, Megan? Like, from all of us having the media backgrounds and whatnot, it's like when you're in television or in radio, like it seems like you're in a box.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're producing, so that's it. And, or right, like that's it. Like you don't get to learn sales. You don't get to learn some of these other things. So, I mean, even for the year that we have done this show, like it's the fun part is turning on the microphone and talking.
Yeah.
But it's all the other.
I don't know, man. I talk to you though.
It's fun for me. That is fun for me. Now, Kyle has
I'm
put in
kidding,
some minutes.
Yeah,
He's put
yeah.
in some hours. It's up there. And we're working on renewal for next year. No,
I'm currently under contract negotiations as we speak. Right.
Megan, what should people expect
Mm-hmm.
when they sign you on for, whether it's their small business, whether it's their side hustle, their
Yeah.
main business, so that they're trying to get a leg up in the
Of course.
marketplace?
I mean, obviously, I talk with them first. Like, let's just see what your goals are, what your needs are, or like, sometimes it ends up being a conversation that ends up talking about like an event, like, oh, we have this big event coming up, so whatever we create, let's do it before then. But I just like to get to know the people. That's like why I'm doing this. It's my favorite thing, is just meeting people and getting to know their story. And I really want to make sure I do understand that. And then I send a questionnaire with a bunch of information, which I send it to you guys. So,
Changed my social security number.
yeah, I
was kinda
know
concerned. I
it's
was like,
not
"Oh,
too
all right."
detailed, but it is important because
The last two digits, get that in. You messed up, get it in.
because I don't want to waste, like I said, small business owners like do so much. So I don't want to waste their time. Like, so I ask for your brand, like identity, your logo, the colors that you use, so that once we like hit the ground running, it is like a quick process. And yeah, we kind of come up with a couple ideas. I don't lock anybody in of like one or only 3 videos, like whatever you want to do. And then I usually can turn stuff in about a week's time. We talk about obviously what like platforms they want it for. Because some of the content I've learned from my marketing job too, and even from TV, is like create stuff that is universal. Like make sure you can use it in multiple places. So if it's a great video, don't just let it sit on your Instagram. Like create a YouTube account, put it on your YouTube. Like, or if you have a website, you put it on your YouTube. You put that thing somewhere right on your website. So people, I just think people consume video content so much now. And if they can just learn something from the video on your website instead of having to scroll your whole website, they will do that because people are lazy now. People just want the instant satisfaction. Like I was saying, like knowing the customer response and the customer journey. And so that I try to just like make sure we are understanding of like how can we maximize the use of this video. And then usually I turn things in about a week's time. If there's more, then we can talk about, any kind of adjustments for that. But my pricing is about $65 a video, but I really try and be flexible because not every small business is the same. Like, so pricing is totally negotiable. And I'm really just doing this for the fun of it. Like it's honestly, like there was a point where I was like, oh yeah, like I'm also going to make money from this, which is nice. But it has definitely not been the goal of this at all. It's just to kind of like build out more of the things that I used to love to do, just get myself more experience outside of like kind of experiencing the world of where marketing and journalism meet for me. So it's just been super fun. I mean, I enjoy it a lot. I love going into someone's space and seeing like what they do and how much they care about it. So that's the main focus, and I just try and bring that to life with every video.
I was gonna say, besides obviously this experience you're having now, which I'm sure
Yes.
you're having a great time. Can you like think of, I know it's still really fresh for you too, kind of working through all this, like a recent experience or experience you've had while doing this at this point that really stood out to you, where you're like, man, I am so happy I'm doing this. I feel like I'm doing
Yeah.
the right thing at the right place. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I love when like a client like comes back again and says, I want to also do this. Like obviously that means so much to me. But seeing a video do really well, I think like what is stood out to me is some of my clients like have their own video equipment and they try to do stuff and it looks pretty good. But like I was saying, like when you're like have the expertise of how to post something, when to post something, what hashtags to use, and that obviously makes a difference. But one of the biggest differences that I've seen is truly just like a quality video that you can tell someone really took time to put together. And that like does well almost all the time. And then also a lot of my clients will create like cute fun videos, but if you don't, mostly what I've made so far for clients is like a brand awareness video, like exactly what you do, who you are, because a lot of people like love to make like a cute flashy video. Like everyone loves CapCut nowadays, which is just a template really for, your ideas. And if that works for you, then great. But like, I think clients or your customers are going to come there and look for who are you and what do you do? So those videos seem to do really well. And it's amazing how just a little bit of expertise and a little bit of care and time really makes all the difference. And I did one for a recent client and I got her 19 followers in a week. So, that was like, I was shocked, but
That's
like
big time.
I think it really does make a huge difference when you put a little bit more of a finesse on it. So,
You want to mention some of the clients that you have worked for, like some of the
Yes.
business you want to
Shout out my
shout out?
friends now, yes. So the one I was just mentioning is New Healing Ivy Spa and Wellness. So she has like an IV spa in Richmond Heights, and she is like so good at what she does. Her salon is beautiful, so definitely recommend checking her out. My friend Mary Johnson owns VK Wines and Vitamin Candy vegan cafe and restaurant in the like Midtown area, and she has her hands in so many places. She just got her product, some of her food and her wine, into the new, those hangars in Ohio City, like those little like cool like airport hangar-y spaces that have different small businesses. So she's in there now.
I need to be there.
I listen.
I like my wine. I need to be there.
And I try to
Sommelier
not
over
also
here.
like it's so funny, like as a creator, like again, like I know they're really busy and I don't want to bother. I really try to not like pester my clients. Like you come to me when you want something. I know that you're thinking about like making another video, and I know you think you can do it on your own, but I know if it posts and doesn't do well, then you might be in your brain like maybe I should call Megan. So I try not to like get involved. I don't want to, because I really don't want anyone to think they're indebted to me. Like it's just a helpful service.
I thought it was in the contract.
No contracts really yet, but
That was
one day,
negotiated.
one day, that's what the questionnaire is for, though. Like at least to give myself some kind of like understanding, right? Because I have like this life too. Like for New Healing, I was happy to do it, but I was finishing our video like walking around in Chicago. I was visiting my brother, and I was trying to like edit something, and I was like walking around making sure I wasn't running into anybody.
But that shows the dedication that you put into this craft.
Yeah.
Like you make sure
Yeah.
that your clients, these businesses that are local here, they're taken care of.
Yeah, and I can be fast. Like I think my boss and my coworkers now are like, you didn't have to do that so quickly, or like maybe look at this one more time and just see if there's anything else you could do, because I'm so used to the fast pace. Like I could do things with my eyes closed. Honestly, that's what it felt like some days in TV. Like. So, I appreciate the time.
Getting
but-
flashbacks through your eyes of being a
Yeah.
news director and having
Oh.
to deal with this stuff. It was honestly, it was because you
Oh,
were so
man.
like on. You have to be on, go,
yeah,
go, and things
yeah.
can change. You could be halfway through something and then something else pops up. It's
So I think I actually like the quick turnaround times for my clients. Like it I don't know what it is. It just like
feels like home, right?
yeah, it's just like challenging my own self, I guess, is like where I give my kicks. But yeah, so I mean, I have some amazing clients. My first one was Sugar Booga Nail Glam. She is in like the Midtown Asiatown neighborhood, and she used to be downtown, and she's like one of the most creative people ever. Like everything in her salon she designed herself, or she found on Facebook Marketplace, or like she's so savvy.
You got to start somewhere, though.
Yes.
That's the beauty of all this.
Yeah, and I worked with some nonprofits, which obviously means a lot to me too. So I'm just happy to work with anyone. And if you think that like maybe my kind of business won't, just reach out, because you never know. And I also have a lot of connections too. So if for some reason it's not going to work out with me, or like I don't have the exact services and equipment or whatever you need, like I know people, so we can make it work.
Well, so the last question for me. So I know you talked about this kind of being like your side hustle, that kind of thing. You're kind of working. We can obviously appreciate that too. Long term, I mean, where does your mind kind of go when you think about this, and when you wrap your head around what this looks like in the future for you?
I think I'm still learning so much about marketing. I am very grateful for this job that I have at my company right now called Dwellworks. We have 3 different service lines too, so it keeps me on my toes. Like I can do things quick, and I kind of have to some days because we have a lot going on. And I'm so happy to be there. I think I want to get some more experience and just make sure that I really feel secure in my marketing skills. But like long term, like it might be really cool to like combine all this knowledge one day and have my own, like I don't even know if it's agency or if it's like company or whatever, but that would be really awesome. And I have some kids I volunteer with. I also run a media club with this organization called Corner 65. So we are an organization that services children and teenagers.
You do a fantastic job with
Thanks.
that, too.
Yeah, it's like it is my favorite project, but and doing a media club with them has been so much fun. And a lot of them love like media, and one of them is they're all very talented, but one of them is an aspiring, very talented photographer and photojournalist. And the dream goal, and like a long time from now, it would be so cool to like be able to employ him for my own job, my own business. But yeah, we're a little ways away from that. And my boss is amazing too. And I told her, like, don't worry, I'm not jumping ship to do the side hustle. Like, we are not there yet. And we're not even there at all. So I'm grateful for the balance.
Are any of those kids real quick interested in sports or pro wrestling or anything?
They, I mean, a lot of them are from Africa. They love soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Soccer is their thing. So, we're gunning for that possible pro soccer team here in Cleveland, whether it's men's or women's or whatever. But that's the thing. They love soccer. We've gotten them into some sports here in Cleveland. But it continues to be their favorite thing. So. Yeah.
How many kids are in the club?
I mean, we have upwards of 100 that have come through.
Wow.
We have a good core group for sure, but we do a lot of programming, and we're very fortunate. We're under the nonprofit Resource Cleveland, which is over on Lorraine Avenue in Cleveland, and they have their hands in a lot of different projects for newcomers and refugees here in Cleveland. They do so much, and I'm very grateful.
So we work with Exodus Pro Wrestling a little bit too. We're going to be doing announcing some things, obviously, in a few weeks. And I kind of just had an idea pop into my head about
a lot of them have a lot of adrenaline. So trust me.
I mean, I think the thing we can do something where we have a raffle or something like that, and we can actually bring a couple with us next time we go to the show. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be so
because
cool.
we're always trying to make new wrestling fans.
Yes, and
awesome
the cool thing about TV is I ended up having a lot of connections that I was able to connect with Corner 65, and that meant a lot. I never took any opportunity for granted with that. So I'm still happy to make those little connections where I can. So I will never say no.
None of those kids are taller than me, right? You don't have to answer that.
I hope every single one of those kids are taller than him.
We're going to edit that out of the tape.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
We're going to leave that out. I know we got to wrap. I do have one before you plug.
Yeah.
Give your final plug. One of the questions in the questionnaire I thought was very interesting. Would you prefer to have your video taped horizontally or vertically?
Yeah, right.
Why is that? I had to wrap my head around that question for some. It was a great question. I'm like, why is that so important in terms of marketing?
I think just optimizing whatever video you're doing for the certain platform that you care the most about. So for me at Dwellworks, we're kind of a B2B company, so we favor LinkedIn as our main social media platform and channel. And that one's not as specific about what size you're doing, but typically if you're creating a video for your website, on a brand video, you want that to be the size of a YouTube video link, and YouTube does have shorts now, but I think they're still kind of figuring that out. But it's kind of like you said, it's a horizontal video, and it's kind of, I don't know, I feel that's kind of associated with more professional business, so that probably does well on LinkedIn. It kind of, for me, at least from my lens now, if I was creating something for Instagram where you're looking at it on a phone, probably, so you want it to be vertical. If someone posts something like that on LinkedIn, I'm like, that was posted somewhere else too. It was not optimized for that.
Gotcha.
And how I shoot it makes a lot of difference too. Am I shooting it on my phone this way, or am I turning the phone and shooting it this way? Because how you edit things, obviously with my journalism brain, how setting yourself up to edit something well and correctly, one, looks really good, and two, saves me a lot of time. So that's an important question, I think, to ask people ahead of time. And like I said, I think people kind of, even if you're not in that realm, though, we're all so savvy to technology now. People notice when something isn't quite, maybe something's a little off with something, and I might turn them off from the business. And I don't. Obviously, that is not what I want for the stuff that I'm creating for these businesses.
So again, this is Meg.
Yes.
Video
that was definitely
marketing.
Intentional.
No, it's
yeah.
How can people find you?
So I mean, I have all these different social channels. So I am on Instagram. I'm on X. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I have some of my content that I've produced on those sites. But also I have a phone number, I have an email, happy to share anything. My phone number is 440-867-3645, so you can just rewatch this and write that down. And same with my email, it's meganrg440@gmail.com. I'm used to the journalism days, so I'm used to my phone ringing and not knowing who it is, or getting a random email.
You get a 703.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to get in touch with anyone, or even if you message me on my socials, I check everything every day because I'm in marketing, so it's totally fine.
There you go. Megan Gallagher
Thank
joining
you.
us. BG alum.
Listen,
It doesn't help when you say it again.
Bowling.
we
Green.
did win the Battle of I-75 this year.
It's
Just
been a rough
pointing
season.
that out.
It's been a rough year for me.
Did. Sorry. It's
We have a
it's gonna
standout
turn.
from right here in Northeast Ohio. You can't even be mad at it.
It's gonna turn. You want to
Yeah.
sit in the show? You want to sit in the show right now? You don't want to sit in the show right now, do you? More BG talk.
I have to be respectful.
That's okay. We understand. Thank you guys.
Thank you.